All right, folks, one of the greatest issues emerging out of the western region here in Jamaica is lottery scamming. From early 2000, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency has been tackling this epidemic, which has tremendously affected Jamaica's reputation in a negative way. Public Relations Officer and investigator at MOCA, Corporal Kevin Watson, is here to give us an update on what's been happening in the fight against this crime. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
When did and where and how did this thing start up?
Well, lottery scam in Jamaica really started with the advent of the call centers that were established here in Jamaica, where persons could actually get access to telemarketers' lead list. These are really documents containing identity information of persons, you know, not only living in the US but Canada and other places. Okay. You know, there's a story that I heard that some time ago, back in the late 90s, they had some Africans who came here and actually started opening up this whole thing to Jamaicans, that, you know, because, you know, in Africa, it's a big thing, the 419 scam.
Oh, I didn't know.
And so, right, and so it really started there. Once Jamaicans were able to get the information on persons overseas, then that's where.
Okay. Does it happen to Jamaicans living in Jamaica?
Lottery scam does not affect Jamaicans per se. You have different types of scams. A lottery scam is just one category of advance fee fraud. So you have different types of scams which affects Jamaicans, but not lottery scam.
Okay, and they call it lottery scam because you usually call the people and tell them that
they are the winner of some kind of sweepstakes, competition or prize. Okay. And that is very common in the United States and Canada, you know, where persons will enter competitions without even knowing. You go into a store or a supermarket to buy products, and on your receipt is automatically entered into some kind of a competition. So it's a culture there, but for Jamaica it's not really a culture here, and so it does not necessarily affect Jamaicans.
In Jamaica?
In Jamaica.
And also the call centers would be more in the west, why it seems like it's kind of isolated. Right.
So call centers were first established in the west. St. James, Montego Bay, and so you find that lottery scam itself became prevalent in that area, specifically the community of Granville, and then it really extended throughout to other communities, and then beyond the western region to other parishes.
And apparently now school is involved, the youngsters are involved. Do they work for the big man kind of thing, or are they doing this on their own, or what?
Well, we have some persons, some students, some children who work for top-tier lottery scammers, but there are some who really are into the business by themselves, because it is really an individual kind of a crime.
But how would a young schoolboy or schoolgirl be able to find out information on people in the United States? Because you said they have to find their identity and stuff like that.
Well, the thing is that identity information is so easy. It is so easy to get access to that kind of information. They have what we call lead list brokers, persons who really specializes in selling other persons' identity information. It is not difficult to get a hold of these persons either. You go on the internet and you can get the information easily.
Where is your group now in all of this? Are you guys on top of this, or is it running away from you guys, or what?
No, we started to really deal with lottery scamming activities from a reactive approach, where we conducted operations based on intelligence and so on. However, for 2015, one of our strategic objectives is really to apply a proactive approach, in that we are going to go into the schools, you know, have presentations on lottery scamming, stop lottery scamming. Oh, lottery scamming is wrong, it's a crime. You know, it's really crime prevention through social development. You know,
what's the punishment if I'm caught?
You can spend 25 years, up to 25 years in in prison.
Have we been able to catch most of these people, or has that happened so far, that you've caught someone and they have been sentenced to that amount of time?
No, we have not had any convictions where persons have been sentenced to that, given the maximum of 25 years, but we have convictions where persons have been sentenced to 4 years at hard labor. You know.
What's the reason for that, if the maximum is 25?
Well,
or you're not
it's a number of it's a number of elements
at
different it's a number of things. These matters are tried in the circuit court before a judge of the circuit court, and the judge will normally take different things into consideration when offering sentencing for these. They have certain guidelines that they use.
Do we have the facility, the manpower, the resources to combat this and really get on top of this?
Yeah, we do have the resources. MOCA, we're working very closely with other international law enforcement agencies in the United States and Canada, and we do have the investigative capabilities and the operational capabilities to combat this offense. However, as I said before, we realize that there's need to have a more proactive approach, and that is why we intend to start the Stop Lottery Scamming campaign in collaboration with the Area 1 Community Safety and Security.
Stop the campaign?
Stop Lottery Scamming campaign. It's really targeting children in schools.
Okay, all right. No,
right.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
Right. You know, sensitizing them about the immorality and the criminality of lottery scamming, and to really interrupt this transitioning to the lottery scamming transitioning into now a culture.
Yeah.
You know.
We're talking about big money here, or are we talking about people getting like 10,000 US and 5,000 US? Or we are talking about millions of US dollars that come through this thing?
Possibly millions. Yes, I have heard scammers bragging about collecting, you know, 20,000 United States dollars per week. You know, and that will give you an idea per week. That will give you an idea of the magnitude of the problem.
Okay.
And of the money that we.
And I was reading that you see the youngsters, the schoolers driving cars and stuff like that. Isn't that a sure sign that something is up, or no?
Definitely. And one of the things also is that when we get the feedback from the schools, teachers, the principals in these schools sometimes will refer us to students who have actually dropped out of school to be in lotteries, to get into lottery scam full time.
Oh.
And these are young guys who own high-end motor cars and houses, etc. We're talking about 15-year-old, you know.
A 15-year-old
yes,
man
right.
have a big car and a big
right.
house.
He does not have the car registered in his name or the house, obviously, but
so, you know,
in the spirit.
We
have our ways of knowing these things. I always say that MOCA West, we know every scammer.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
What would that, in a serious way, what would happen to that 15-year-old? He's a little boy, and yes. If he's held, and as you said, there's nothing in his name, what do you do to that young man?
Well, you know, we usually conduct proactive investigations around these matters, and when the investigation reveals and we can prove that this person is actually involved in illicit activities, and the assets acquired by these persons are then in other person's name, then even those other persons can be prosecuted. And we just go ahead and seize those items under the Proceeds of Crime Act. And
but you're on top of it.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
Okay.
Public Relations Officer and Investigator at the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, Corporal Kevin Watson. All right, folks, after the break, Archie